Until you can think in English, you won't truly become fluent. Many learners translate from their native language into English while speaking, but this habit slows them down, creates unnatural pauses, and increases stress levels. The moment you realize you're taking too long to translate words in your head, panic sets in, and this blocks your ability to communicate easily and naturally. For this reason, learning to think directly in English is one of the most important steps toward fluency. Today, I want to share some simple exercises and techniques that can help you train your brain to think in English. Hello everyone, and welcome back to English Uncovered. My name is Peter, and I am very happy that you are here today. If you are a beginner in English, this video is for you. Thinking in English is directly connected to feeling fluent. When you're able to speak without hesitation, with words coming to you naturally, you experience a true sense of confidence and flow. But how do you get from where you are now to that magical place? How can you actually train your brain to think in English? One of the most effective principles is immersion. Surrounding yourself with the language as much as possible is key. If you haven't yet made the switch to English language news, start there. Learn the lyrics of songs in English and sing along as much as you can. Watch movies and TV shows in English, or read books, listen to audiobooks, or tune into podcasts. All of these activities expose you to words and useful grammatical structures in context, which helps you understand how they are used in real-life situations. This makes it easier to recall and apply them in your own thoughts and conversations. One very helpful resource I recommend is the English Conversation Guide, which comes with more than 100 dialogues about daily life. Each dialogue also has audio, so you can hear the correct pronunciation and repeat after it. This is a big advantage for beginners because you can practice real-life conversations, such as ordering food, introducing yourself, shopping, or talking about your family. You don't have to guess how words are pronounced. The audio is already there for you. You can find the link in the description of this video if you want to check it out and start practicing today. I recommend dedicating about 30 minutes a day to immersing yourself in English. The wonderful thing about practicing daily is that the results build up over time. You'll reach your goal of thinking in English much faster with consistent practice than if you were to study for 5 hours once every 2 weeks. This is because daily exposure allows you to build progressively on what you did the day before. Think about exercising at the gym. After a workout, you feel strong and energized. But if you don't return for 2 weeks, your muscles and stamina weaken, and you end up rebuilding what you lost. On the other hand, daily workouts develop lasting strength. The same principle applies to training your English fluency. Listening and immersion are powerful tools. You can walk around all day with English in your headphones, and this exposure is incredibly valuable. However, to actually train your brain to think in English, you need to take a step further. You must activate the ideas, vocabulary, and grammatical structures in your mind so that you can access them quickly while thinking in English. In other words, you need to keep the language active, not just passively received. That's why I've prepared a few specific exercises to help you train your brain to think in English. These activities are short, simple, and designed to be manageable. Each one can be done in 30 minutes or less per day, and for this example, we'll use a podcast as our source material.
Think in English listening practice. 1. 6-Minute English is a fantastic resource because their episodes are short, straight to the point, and always focused on a clear context. Before you even press play, take about 60 seconds to brainstorm words and ideas you already know related to the topic of the podcast. The important trick here is not to translate. If you catch yourself trying to convert a word from your native language into English, stop immediately and move on. Only write down the English words that naturally come to mind. Once you're ready, listen to the entire episode, but give it your full attention and focus while doing this exercise. That's why 6-Minute English is such a great choice. Its episodes are short, clear, and easy to manage. After you finish listening, create a quick ideas map where you write down the story or the main points of the podcast in English. Do this immediately after listening and intentionally focus on recalling the words and ideas directly in English without translating. The map doesn't need to follow any specific order. Just write what comes to mind as soon as it appears. This activity is powerful because it strengthens the neurological connections between the language you've just heard and the English words you need to retell or discuss the topic. To take the practice further, try meeting with a speaking partner to discuss the episode. The more often you practice this process, the easier it will become for you to think naturally in English. Every new opportunity you create to activate words, ideas, and thoughts in your mind will give you more fluency and confidence. Think in English listening practice 2. Here's another exercise you can try, this time using a YouTube video as your source. So we were exploring lots of vocabulary and ideas related to the fashion industry, sustainability, and the environmental impact of clothing production. For this practice, we used one of the recommended resources inside the platform, a video about the fast fashion industry. Before doing anything else, simply watch the first minute of the video, but with the sound turned off. This way, you allow the visuals to prompt your brain to think in English. Because the video is full of imagery related to fashion and sustainability, it offers plenty of opportunities for vocabulary recall. Keep a piece of paper in front of you so that you can write down what you see. If you prefer, you can also just say the words out loud in English, or even think them silently in your head. The important part is to keep everything in English. Since the images move quickly, slow down the playback speed to 0.5 to give your brain more time to react naturally. Watch the first minute carefully, and if there are objects or scenes you recognize but can't quite name in English, take a moment to look up those words once you've finished watching. Try to avoid translating directly from your native language and instead search for the word in English. This simple shift helps you keep your brain working in English and allows you to connect new words or ideas to the vocabulary you're trying to memorize. If you have the time, watch the video again and repeat the same activity, because on the second attempt, you'll notice the words that weren't in your mind before. The prompts on the screen will help you quickly retrieve the words you already know, strengthening those neurological pathways in your brain. There are many ways to practice this, whether on your own, with a speaking partner, or in a study group, all of which help reinforce the vocabulary and bring it more naturally to your thoughts. The more you repeat and refine a specific topic, the stronger these connections become, making it easier to think in English without hesitation.
Another powerful strategy to train your brain to think in English is to practice speaking in real conversations. Although you might feel nervous or anxious, the key is to practice as much as possible, because it's during these spontaneous exchanges that you're truly forced to think quickly and respond in English. This activity becomes much easier when it connects with the previous exercises you've done, listening, brainstorming, recalling, because the vocabulary and ideas are fresh in your mind, ready to be used. A final activity you can use to train the brain to think in English is setting aside just 5 minutes a day. use a timer and dedicate those minutes to describing what is happening around you. It doesn't matter if you're walking, sitting on the bus, or working at your desk. The beauty of this exercise is that it can be done anytime, anywhere. During that time, focus only on pulling your thoughts away from your native language and into English. Describe the world around you, narrate your actions, express your opinions, or share your thoughts about what's happening in the moment. You can start small with individual words, then build up to short sentences about simple actions and gradually increase complexity. Challenge yourself by shifting tenses. Talk about what happened yesterday at the same time, or what you hope will happen in the future. The key here is that the time frame should be short. 5 minutes is ideal, or even less, because this activity can be mentally tiring. Don't push it so far that it feels boring or stressful. Think of it like flexibility training. It develops slowly over time, but the more consistently you practice, the easier and more natural it becomes. The important part is to build the habit. Consistency is crucial, so make sure you dedicate time each day to engaging in English and completing one of these exercises. A good way to stay motivated is to follow a podcast series or an audiobook, since these provide ongoing content you can return to for new episodes or chapters. By coming back to the same material regularly, you strengthen your familiarity with the language and stay motivated to continue. Keep practicing, and remember that consistency will pay off. With time, thinking in English will become second nature, something you do naturally without effort. Stay focused, keep going, and little by little, you'll notice your progress. Thinking in English is not just possible, it's inevitable if you stick with the process.